Households and their lifestyles have implications for mitigation and adaptation capacities of societies. So evaluating alternative shifts in household composition consistent with the IPCC endorsed shared socioeconomic pathways and their relations with changing environmental conditions is essential to understanding human-environment dynamics. For example, what will be the number of elderly one-member or two-member households in the future that will be vulnerable to the effects of climate change, such as heat waves? The household projection models shows projections of the number of households broken down into certain key demographics that are relevant to policymakers across sectors. These include different sizes that range from one member to more than 7 members. The projections are based on several characteristics of the household head, which include their age group, their urban-rural residency status, and their education level. It also estimates the number of people living in such households. The model conducts these projections consistent with different scenarios and for multiple regions of the world for the baseline year up to 2100. First, select from 4 input options to form the basis of your projections. From the drop-down menu, choose 1. Whether you want the projections to be estimated only based on the age group of the household head. 2. Their urban-rural residency status plus their age group. 3. Their education level plus their age group. Or 4. Based on all these 3 characteristics. Second, if you would like to use the preloaded data, you can specify a region from the drop-down menu. Current countries and regions include China, European Union, India, Latin America and the Caribbean, other developing countries, other industrialized countries, sub-Saharan Africa, and transitional countries. Please note that not all these regions are available for all options from the first section, and we have made assumptions for input files of some regions. For example, if you select the first or last option from the first section, the only currently available region for projections is China. The current datasets will be updated over time and other regions will be added. The current input files for each region, based on your selection from the first section, are its projections of population and headship rates, broken down by 21 age groups, from 0 to 4 years old to more than 100 years old, 7 household sizes, urban-rural residency status, and 4 education levels consistent with the 5 IPCC-endorsed SSPs. The input files are at 10-year intervals from the baseline year up to 2100. You can also upload your own datasets based on the format specified in the help message box to produce household projections for your region and scenario of interest. Finally, in the last section, choose your scenario of interest from the 5 SSPs and 7+ household size values. The preloaded data files contain population and headship rate records for 5 SSPs. The default 7+ values represent the typical size of large households based on our data analysis. If you would have entered your own datasets consistent with other scenarios in the SSPs, you can enter those scenarios in this section. The number of 7+ values is determined by your selection from the first section and ranges from 1 to 8. You can also change the 7+ values if you think other values better represent the typical size of large households in your region of interest. After selecting from all the options, click on the Run button to display household projection results. Here is an example scenario to get you started. Select Age and Urban/Rural Status in China from the first and second sections. Then enter SSP2 in the scenario text box and use the default 7+ values. You can now see projection results in the Distributions tab for 21 age groups from 0 to 4 years old, all the way up to more than 100 years old. Select a year from its drop-down menu embedded in the projection plot title to display projections for that year. Toggle between households and population from the drop-down menu in the plot title to display the number of households or population living in them respectively. The current plot in this example for the year 2050 shows the number of people living in households based on the age group of the household head and their urban/rural residency status in China. You can specify the different ways you want the plot display to be arranged. Aside from the default stacked option, you can select by proportion and faceted from the menu at the top of the plot to explore the results in proportional and multifaceted formats. All the plots that are generated are interactive. This means you can hover over an area and informational text will pop up with relevant details from the plot about that area. The interactive legend also allows you to focus on a specific characterization. To do this, double-click on the item corresponding to the urban 2-member households from the legend to see only the information relevant to this type of household. You can also explore the household projection results using the line plot in the Trends tab. The plot shows changes in the number of households with a specific size or the total population living in each household size category, depending on your selections from the drop-down menus and the plot's title between 2 specified years. It arranges the line plots based on 3 general age groups of household heads and other specified options. For example, the current plot shows changes in the number of 3-member households in China, consistent with SSP2 broken into 3 age groups of household heads and their urban/rural status between 2020 and 2080. There are currently 4 household size selectors ranging from 1 to 4 and above. Finally, you can see the household projection results in a tabular format on the Table tab. Notably, you can download both the table and the plot generated by this model for your own records. Thank you for using the household projection model. At the bottom of this page, you can find more descriptions about the model. If you have any comments or questions about this model, please contact us through the contact page of the CDM website.